legal framework to back this Amotekun.
Amotekun Southwest governors meet Vice President Yemi Osinbajo and the Attorney General of the Federation behind closed doors.
Their mandate was maintained by the Supreme Court.
Supreme Court affirms Zamfara governorship election. Plus, Nigerians optimistic of Eagles' qualification for the World Cup. Hello, this is NTN Network News, reaching you live. I am Joseph Johnson in Abuja. Reading with me tonight is Hingunu John Adams in Lagos and Obehi Otobo Presei is in Benin. President Muhammadu Buhari is back in Abuja after a week-long official engagement in the United Kingdom. The president was received on arrival at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport. We'll have details for you in the course of this bulletin, hopefully. Now, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo and the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, this Thursday met with some governors of the South or Southwest over the controversial launch of the region security outfit, Amotekun. The governors are that of Ekiti, Ondo, Osun, and the Deputy Governor of Oyo State. The meeting held behind closed doors, after which the media was briefed.
Important one is that we are going to have the legal framework to back this Amotekun, and this legal framework is going to be one in which all of us will look at, and we'll be sure that it goes without any hindrance. Amotekun is there. Yeah. Amotekun will have to, the federal government is starting community policing, and it's more of, in essence, really, it's about community policing. So we're going to work together and see the community policing and Amotekun work in a way. There were consultations. Don't say there were no consultations. There were consultations, okay, because we had discussion with the IG then, and what has developed is what has led to this. Not that there were no consultation. We just felt that, look, with all this noise outside, it's better for us to sit down. And you remember, even immediately the noise started, I said that we are going to explore political solution. And all of us are here. My colleague, Deputy Governor of Oyo, who is of PDP, all of us are here. So we have looked at this solution to it now, political and legal solution to it. All of us will do it.
So what will you be telling your people that are already protesting out there? About
protesting about what?
Protesting.
Are they protesting against it?
Saying that the government is trying to solve something that they want.
No, the government is not trying to solve.
The Attorney General has clarified that.
The Attorney General has spoken. I'm sure you all read the statement that it was misinterpreted. So it's so clear. So, there was no time. At no time the government wanted to stop Amotekun. That's what we must go about with. And all of us believe that they don't want to stop Amotekun. And when the Federal Attorney General hasn't spoken, it's all about us. So there's no problem.
Thank you. Maybe the Attorney General will set the record straight. And
the record has been set straight by His Excellency. I have nothing to add.
From you, sir.
From you, sir.
Meanwhile, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami had earlier re-emphasized that regional security architectural arrangement such as Amotekun by states is not tolerated by the Constitution of the Federation. The Minister of Justice explained that any such arrangement not supported by extant law remains illegal except such as planning, execution and consummation is grounded in law, rooted in the Constitution and tolerated by the law. Government will not allow any unilateral exclusive arrangements by a regional body, he said. Now, the Supreme Court has affirmed the election of Governor Bello Mohammed Matta of Zamfara State. This follows an appeal filed by APC candidate in last year's election. Judiciary correspondent Femo Kewo has the details.
The Zamfara governorship election case has had to take its own unique route based on the earlier Supreme Court judgment on 24th of May 2019, which declared that the APC had no lawful candidates for the governorship election in Zamfara State. The APC candidate, Mohammed Sani Takuri, petitioned the tribunal to contest the qualification of PDP's candidate to occupy the governorship seat in the state. His grounds was that the PDP did not satisfy the criterion of Section 179, subsection 2 of the Constitution, which expects the winner of the election to have won at least 1/4 of the votes in at least 2/3 of the local governments in the state. The PDP's Bello Mohammed Matta had been a beneficiary of the Supreme Court's judgment in May 2019, which declared APC's votes in the state elections as wasted votes. But in contesting PDP's occupation of the seat, the Supreme Court said that the appellant did not produce the result which would have convinced the court that Matta truly did not get the constitutional spread. Justice Mohammed Musa Detijo, who delivered the lead judgment, said it is not the duty of the court to go fishing for evidence for the appellants, and as such, the appeal cannot stand in the face of lack of evidence.
Their mandate was maintained by the Supreme Court in this judgment today.
No costs were awarded against the appellants. In Abuja, Femi Okewo, NTA News.
And the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has arraigned the former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Mohammed Bello along with 6 others on 42-count charge, which borders on money laundering. Ali Tukur has more.
The former Minister of Justice, Mohammed Bello and 6 others who pleaded not guilty are alleged to have embezzled more than $1 billion in the Malabu oil deal. Counsel to the defendant prayed the court to hear the bail application, particularly for the first defendant who has been in the Commission's custody for more than 1 month and has health challenges. The prosecution counsel objected to the request, stating that the defendant may jump bail. Justice Abubakar Kutigi did not agree with the prosecution. Instead, he ordered that the defendant be remanded in the EFCC's custody pending the hearing of the bail application.
We were able to arrive at a consensus that the 3 accused persons be remanded with the same EFCC that has been keeping particularly the first accused person for over 30 days now.
We will file fresh charges at the Federal High Court. Already another charge in respect of a different matter has already been filed for the Halliburton before this court. We have filed another charge at the Federal High Court for money laundering component against all the defendants here. And we are filing down the line by Friday or Monday, we'll be filing fresh charges in a separate matter for associated companies that benefited from the Malabu money.
The case has been adjourned to Monday, the 27th of this month, to hear the bail application. In Abuja, Ali Tukur, NTA News.
Still staying with the judiciary, the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has restrained the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) from issuing a certificate of return to Obinna Uzo as the senator representing Anambra South Senatorial District. The presiding judge, Justice Taiwo, also restrained all the respondents in the matter from giving effect to the judgment of a High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, which had ordered the issuance of certificate of return to Uzo. Justice Taiwo maintained that INEC and the other respondents in the matter cannot proceed to comply with the order of the FCT High Court in defiance to the subsisting judgments of the National Assembly Elections Tribunal and the Court of Appeal, which had affirmed Senator Ifeanyi Ubah as the senator representing Anambra South Senatorial District at the National Assembly. Justice Taiwo held that the Court of Appeal is the final court on issues pertaining to the declaration of Ubah as the duly elected senator for Anambra South Senatorial District. Similarly, the Buhari media organization said the picture painted by Transparency International on the state of Nigeria's anti-corruption war is vague and not a reflection of on-ground reality. In a statement, BMO said it is uncharitable for Transparency International to conclude that the anti-graft war in Nigeria is not delivering results when the anti-corruption agencies have stepped up the war in recent years, with more high-profile convictions being recorded. Buhari media organization added that the group also knew that Nigerians would receive its report with skepticism when it brought up issues that have little or nothing to do with the fight against corruption. While acknowledging that government still has more to do to eliminate corruption in some sectors of the country, it said that's not enough to be dismissive of Buhari administration's efforts. With more than 10 billion naira already in the kitty of the pension fund, government is considering the use of these funds as long-term loans for infrastructural development. This is one of the issues deliberated on at the first National Economic Council meeting in 2020, held today in Abuja. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports on this and other matters.
So much has happened since the last meeting by the National Economic Council, and some of these issues were raised today, and these include health, agriculture, electricity, and road network.
We have spent, the federal government has supported the electricity industry with 1.7 trillion in the last 3 years. And this is not sustainable.
Governor Ahmed El-Rufai of Kaduna State speaking on one of the key issues that takes the front burner at the meeting, the concern on the epileptic supply of electricity across the country.
Sometimes conflicting presentations from various stakeholders in the power sector. But I think there is will on the part of all the members to really go to the root of all the problems and speak to ourselves in an honest national conversation.
Road is another important infrastructure the meeting feels needs a long-term loan facility to fund, and using the pension fund has been considered as the best option for this.
Infrastructure investment fund can be created using the existing PENCOM law and regulations, which allows up to 20% of the total pension fund to be used to invest in infrastructure and other long-term assets.
Governor El-Rufai is a member of a committee set up by the National Economic Council to look into how this problem could be solved. The meeting, held at the State House Conference Center and chaired by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, was briefed by executives of some of the concerned ministries, which activities demand active participation of the states. One of such is the Ministry of Health. The concern is on the ravaging Lassa fever, polio, and the Asian coronary virus. The ministry assures Nigerians that the country is atop the situation, but urged anyone with suspicious symptoms to visit the nearest health facility.
That it is necessary for us to strengthen prevention at our port of entry. We are informed that Lassa fever is not a killer disease. It is treatable.
Chairman of the Nutrition Council and Emir of Kano, Muhammadu Sanusi, also sought the cooperation of the states.
All of them have committed to prioritizing it in their budgets, prioritizing it in their policies, and this is exactly what we wanted to achieve.
The process of national development is a collective thing. Every item we discuss are very important, not only for our states, but the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
The balances on the excess crude account as at 21st of January 2020 is $321,393,190.35.
Deductions made so far from states is about 29 billion naira for the repayment of the budget support loan. From the banquet hall of the State House, Jide Onifade, NT News.
A clear indication of the current administration's commitment to the health care of its citizens is the allocation of the sum of 44.5 billion naira for the Basic Health Fund in 2020. Now, this is in addition to the 427.3 billion naira to drive the sector. Let's take a peep into the health indices that will shape 2020, as put together by health correspondent Rabi Abdullah.
The major public health challenges Nigeria faces are infectious diseases, poor maternal and child health indices, non-communicable diseases, and issues of human resource for health, among others. With universal health coverage on the plan for upscale, strengthening primary health care, boosting human resource for health is among the slated priorities for 2020.
So in the 2020 budget for health, about 60% of capital budget for health is for primary health care. In fact, the executive already proposed the legislature increased primary health care budget by about 13 billion to be able to address the infrastructural gap, the equipment gap, drug gap, as well as human resource gap.
The midwifery service scheme, which is now captured in the budget, about 2 billion naira is allocated for that. We hope to see releases and also more midwives recruited, employed, and also distributed to all the rural area in Nigeria.
Health security that ensures emergency preparedness and response to disease outbreaks is also to get a boost, with also strategies that will not only reveal the root cause of medical tourism, but aim at reversing the trend. In Abuja, Rabi Abdallah, NTA News.
Joining me in the studio now to talk more on health prospect is the Minister of Health, Dr. Osagie Ehanire. Doctor, you're welcome to NTA Network News.
Thank you. Good evening.
Yes. All right, let's just start by, is it the slow pace, seemingly slow pace of the country's journey to achieving a progressive universal health coverage has been a source of concern, hasn't it? Of course, we understand that there are a lot of efforts that are being made to, step up, every of the areas in 2020. Just talk us through that.
Well, slow but steady. An undertaking of this magnitude and of this extent requires to be properly prepared. We have the law and we have the act backing us, and also an implementation plan. We're in conversation with the National Assembly, specifically with the committee, on certain aspects, tiny little aspects that we're trying to iron out. And then the rollout is already on. Actually, there is nothing that is stagnating as such. Once these little pieces of disalignment are ironed out, then, and I suppose within a week, then there will be no problem with basic health care provision fund.
Okay, so what specifically can be done differently about strengthening primary health care?
Well, there are many things that can be done. It's not one item. Number one is funding. The National Health Insurance Scheme, as you know, is there. It's looking to make insurance mandatory and also to expand this pool of resources to cover healthcare delivery. The second is that we need to get the infrastructure ready for the primary health care, where we're working with the state governments to make sure that the primary health care centers are there in the first place, that the resources are there, human resources and material resources, and above all, the governance structure. Now, the governance structure has to be robust, has to be firm, and must be open to scrutiny, and all Nigerians must be able to get their rights and their treatment done as required at primary health care.
Yeah, that's for primary health care. I understand that secondary and tertiary health care are also in dire need of reforms. Are you working on that?
Yes, particularly the secondary health care, the way the health services shared out actually lies in the purview of state governments. The federal government is willing to provide support. In Sokoto State, for example, federal government is providing support personnel from the federal medical, or rather from the university hospital there, to support the secondary health care structure. But in many other states, it is weak, and there is probably a huge opportunity there for the private sector to step in and do what general hospitals should be doing. The secondary health care structure is made up of general hospitals. They don't have to be very elaborate, but if they have the specialists, they have the materials and equipment to carry out referrals, to accept referrals from primary health care and do basic operations, then they can save the teaching hospitals a lot of work.
Okay, just before I go to you, asking you about what are your prospects for 22 other critical prospects. Let me ask you this very question because, I mean, there are anxieties in the country as regards to health security in view of disease outbreaks like the Lassa fever that's been. What is the current situation?
Well, the current situation with Lassa fever is what we see almost annually at this time of year during this dry season. There's an upsurge in the cases of Lassa fever. As you know, it's a disease that has a vector. The vectors are rodents, which seem to be more active at this time. And the cases have increased. There are 3 states where we have, which are the epicenters, Edo, Ondo, and Boni. And a lot has been done to prepare for that. We have necessary laboratories in these states for quick diagnostics. And the treatment is now much faster. The case fatality rate has dropped to about 15%. That means that where before, a couple of years before, 30% or so of those who had Lassa will lose their lives. Now it's reduced to 15 due to a very early diagnosis and early treatment and more experience from the health sector.
And technically, we have nothing to worry about.
Well, we have something to worry about when we are losing even one person. So we continue to improve our skills to message properly, to expand range of services in order to be able to achieve zero.
Okay, all right, thank you very much.
Zero mortality.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm afraid I can't take you on the other critical prospect, but it's been really, really nice speaking with you, Minister.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I've been speaking with the Minister of Health, Dr. Shaggy Ehanire. Now, let's just take a break for some messages. Stay with us, don't go away.
Thank you. Candidates. Registration for UTME and DE into Nigerian tertiary institutions takes place from January 13th to February 17th, 2020. Candidates are to check their eligibility for chosen programs and institutions on ibas.jamb.gov.ng before commencing the application process. Only one cell number can be used by one candidate. To generate profile code, send your surname, first name, middle name if any, by text to 55019. A profile code of 10 characters is received by the candidate in same phone number and IBAS alert for pre-registration checking. The profile code is presented to purchase UTME and DE PIN. To receive a lost profile code, resend to 55019 as a text message from the same mobile number. Do not give your password to any person, parent, not even JAB or any so-called tutorial teacher for any purpose. Do not register twice or take UTME and DE forms for the same year. You can upgrade your UTME to DE at no cost. Multiple registration is not allowed. In the event of any error during the registration process, seek correction from JAMB. DE registration closes same day with UTME and there will be no date extension. Pay only approved prices by JAMB.
JAMB, enhancing academic excellence.
As you know, kids' exam time is exam time for moms too. The child prepares intensely, so does the mom, taking care of every little thing. But germs can ruin it all. What if he falls ill on his exam day?
Every single day is important for kids. That's why they need Dettol soap. It protects from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Everyday protection, everyday Dettol.
65 grams, now 150 naira.
Us football fans love banter. All kinds of banter. Like this is still my house banter.
Dad, 4-0 isn't so bad.
It's not as bad as 0-0. Hey, dry banter. Your team can't even score an own goal.
I beg, take Joe. This is the only cup your team will be winning this season.
And then there's that. Better banter. Whatever the banter, banter better with Coca-Cola, the official soft drink partner of the English Premier League.
Helen!
Hey, where's your mom?
Today is her toilet day.
What?
Helen!
Toilet day? Tomorrow you're hosting a party and it's a matter of my reputation. Even if you spend your entire day cleaning with all this, it still won't be party ready.
Impossible!
Challenge? You take a half-ex and eggs. Even if you use this solution 10 times, it won't give you the same cleaning like Harpic. Its new thicker formulation sticks to the bowl better, removes old stains, and gives you a sparkling clean toilet.
Wow!
New Harpic 10X gives me the freedom from toilet day. New Harpic 10X for 10 times better cleaning.
To the outer framers, the hat tippers, the fringe growers, you don't need to hide anymore. Try Dettol Even Tone. It cleans and helps to reduce the appearance of blemishes caused by oil, dirt, and germs, giving your skin a healthy feel for an even better you.
Introducing the new Dettol Even Tone Pink Glow. Healthy skin feel for an even better you.
This year, the weather conditions Harmattan in Nigeria is harsh, with temperature dropping very low in some parts of the country. Many underprivileged children are exposed to these harsh weather conditions, putting them at risk to all sorts of respiratory infections with devastating consequences. We request well-meaning Nigerians to kindly donate warm clothing, blankets, beverages, soap, moisturizers, and other essential items for the benefit of these children. Get involved to support displaced and underprivileged children exposed to these harsh weather conditions. Powered by Aisha Buhari Foundation.
Today or 4 days when my girls won't come visit, and I need to come go expire.
Oh, but my guys, they can't follow me watch this match. I must not fold the hand. Hey, Bello.
Babe, what's happening now? Sorry to disappoint you, but my subscription don't expire.
The match is not on my GoTV package.
Now your holla be that. I beg, give me your phone. Look, I show you how you go take do for my GoTV app for your phone.
Life is so much easier with my GoTV app. Make payments, clear error messages, change your package. You can also check your due dates and keep abreast of your payment history.
With the corner, Matta is there.
The new My GoTV app is everything you need in one place. So what are you waiting for? Download My GoTV app now from Google Play or App Store to enjoy the easy life. GoTV. Live it, love it.
Thanks for staying with us. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, strongly condemned the 2019 Corruption Perception Index, recently released by Transparency International, which ranked Nigeria 146 out of 180 countries analyzed. In a statement, the Commission further faults the poor rating as baseless and describes as appalling the bogus and ambiguous criteria used by Transparency International to arrive at what can best be described as illogical rating. EFCC insists that the rating is a far cry from the evident strides and achievements so far accomplished by the anti-graft agency in the fight against corruption, particularly under the administration of President Muhammad Buhari, adding that the claim and inference by Transparency International that Nigeria ranks the fourth most corrupt country in West Africa is totally unacceptable, as it is evidently not supported by any empirical data, especially when placed side by side with the remarkable achievements of the Commission in the past years. The electoral indifference as exhibited by Nigeria's voting population during elections is creating concerns for the Independent National Electoral Commission. National Commissioner and Chairman Board of Electoral Institute, Solomon Shoebi, disclosed these at a focus group discussion on voter apathy towards continuous voter registration and elections in Nigeria. Timothy Yusuf reports.
Findings from the Independent National Electoral Commission show an increasingly sharp drop between 1999 and 2019 in voter turnout. The average voter turnout during the 1999 general elections was 52.3%, which dropped to 34.7% during the 2019 general elections. The implication is that only a few number of people are involved in the election of the nation's leaders. This challenging trend is disturbing and needs to be addressed immediately. This focus group discussion on voter registration and elections, organized by the INEC Electoral Institute, is critically looking at the factors behind low participation.
But when it comes to actual utility of those cards, the participation in the electoral process, we discover that we have a decline. What is responsible for this? What particular reference can we make to all these critical issues that we have said has been the reasons why there is voter apathy?
The group discussion later dissolved into a parallel session. Stakeholders in the election management body promised speedy presentation of identified solutions to appropriate quarters. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NT News.
Talking security, Kaduna State Police Command says it rescued 8 kidnapped victims along Kaduna Zaria Highway, killing 2 of the bandits Wednesday afternoon. A statement by the Command Public Relations Officer, DSP Yakubu Sabo, says the victims were traveling from Kano to Abuja. DSP Sabo says the police in another operation rescued 3 staff of a telecom service provider kidnapped at Maidaro village in Gewa local government area of the state. While on a manhunt for the fleeing bandits, police operatives intercepted and rescued 9 other captives who were passengers of a vehicle attacked at Foundation Village along the Kaduna Zaria Highway last week, alongside the convoy of the Emir of Postiskum. The Christian Association of Nigeria has condemned the killings of Christians in the northeast by the Boko Haram terrorist group. In a press conference in Abuja, the CAN president, Reverend Samson Ayokunle, urged security agencies to step up action in safeguarding the lives and property of Nigerians, irrespective of faith, social and political affiliations.
In various IDPs should be provided with adequate security and enough resources for their survival.
The leadership of CAN declared Friday, 31st January to 2nd February 2020 as days for special fasting and prayers for Nigerians and the government to develop more capacity to overcome the situation. The Health Implementation Program of the Federal Ministry of Defense, in partnership with the United States of America Army Medical Research Directorate, is to build the capacity of the heads of armed forces hospitals in Nigeria. This is to ensure optimal performance and better service delivery for military families and civilians alike, especially in the prevention and spread of HIV and AIDS. Francis Fum has the report.
Seated in this hall are the heads of defense hospitals across the country. They are sharing ideas and deepening their experiences for effective and efficient service delivery. Colonel Paulina Olubomi and her colleague believes that the meeting will provide the opportunity to evaluate performance as well as formulate and review strategic policies.
It's something that we should actually appreciate the Nigerian Armed Forces, that we are very involved in the prevention of HIV/AIDS in Nigeria.
It's for us to go back and redouble our effort and make sure that all mechanisms that we need to put in place to prevent HIV, to provide care for those that are affected.
The permanent secretary of the Defense Ministry, who acknowledged the significant reduction in national HIV and AIDS prevalence, implored the participants to sustain the fight.
Utilize the current actionable strategies for enhanced implementation of the program activities in terms of the scope of participation, contribution, and quality of healthcare service delivery.
This is a military partnership that has existed for the past 15 years, and we have benefited so much, especially apart from the fight against HIV. There is capacity building of our military personnel and the civilian personnel that are working in the military.
There were goodwill messages from the United States of America Army Medical Research Directorate, National Agency for the Control of HIV and AIDS (NACA), and the National Center for Disease Control. In Abuja, Francis Form, NTA News.
The Discrimination Against Persons with Disability Act, signed into law by President Muhammad Buhari last year, is yet to be implemented. Worried by the non-implementation of the act, members of the Association of Lawyers with Disabilities in Nigeria paid a courtesy visit to Director General of the NTA, Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, to solicit NTA's support and partnership in giving effect to the provisions of the act by creating awareness. Viera Chimuba reports.
The president of Lawyers Living with Disabilities, Mr. Daniel Owe, is appealing to the federal government to establish a national commission for people living with disability to fast-track the implementation of the act. Mr. Owe said the visit is in commemoration of the 4th anniversary of the enactment of the act and to solicit the support of the NTA in creating awareness on the need for corporate entities and individuals to give effect to the provisions of the act to make life more meaningful to beneficiaries.
We also need the Nigerian populace to know that persons with disability should not be discriminated. And employers in the public sector should also, in line with the provision of the Act, employ persons with disabilities whom before now have actually suffered discrimination at the workplace.
The acting director of news, Halima Musa, who received the lawyers on behalf of the Director General of the NTA, Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, said apart from promoting the welfare of all Nigerians, NTA has already taken steps to comply with the Act in terms of employment and provision of facilities to enhance performance of duties. In Abuja, Viera Chumuba, NTA News.
Nigeria's powerhouse of the creative industry in Africa, which has remained the fastest growing sector of the nation's economy, with a huge global potential for investment opportunities, formed the pivot upon which discussions were centered on by panelists at the ongoing UNWTO Tetur Conference, Madrid, Spain. Anthony Forson reports.
We know that Nigeria, without a doubt, is the powerhouse of African creative industries.
With Nollywood trailing behind the music sector and creating an additional 1 million jobs with a GDP growth of 3.5%, it has given the creative industry a leap in the federal government's deliberate policy to diversify the economy.
Nollywood is probably the platform through which Nigeria is best known after music. And Nollywood, which is what we call, which is our own version of Hollywood, actually today employs over 1 million people, directly or indirectly. Nollywood, to see the growth of the industry, in 2014, we had only 23 cinema houses. We had 100 screens and just 3 digital platforms. 4 years later, we have 51 cinema houses, 183 screens, and we have 5 digital platforms. But that is just the tip of the iceberg, because we need in Nigeria today 6,000 screens and 1,000 cinema houses for a population of 200 million people.
The music industry, Bello Mohammed said, has fared creditably well with digital music as the driving force.
In 2014, we grossed $36 million from music. That went to $53 million in 2019, and hopefully by 2021, we'll be reaching $86 million, which will make it the biggest in the entire region.
The minister also responded to how the creative industry, alongside gastronomy, can contribute to tourism in line with the Sustainable Development Goals.
Gastronomy is important to us in the sense that, of course, there cannot be any gastronomy without agriculture. With over 70% of our people live in rural area in Nigeria, and about 50% of our workforce is actually in agriculture. But amazingly, 34% of women employed in Nigeria are actually employed in agriculture, and that actually helps us to meet with our SDG goals.
On ending poverty, the minister explained that the federal government of Nigeria has taken bold steps to promote agriculture for sustainable food production. while noting that conscious efforts are directed to women by ensuring that they have unhindered access to agricultural inputs, the federal government, he maintained, has, as a matter of policy, put in place mechanisms to protect their roles in the food production value chain. From Madrid, Spain, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
At this point, let's join Ingunu in Lagos for more news on Network News.
Thank you, Joseph, for joining us in Lagos. We begin here with the maritime sector. The federal government is to roll out a $200 million vessel financing fund to boost indigenous capacity in the shipping sector. As prelude to actualizing the desire, the Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, has inaugurated a subcommittee which will come up with proposed guidelines for accessing the fund. Michael Olale reports.
Nigeria currently has more than 200 vessels captured in the cabotage register, while 68% of vessels trading within the maritime space are flying the Nigerian flag, according to the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency. In spite of this growing advantage, the federal government is committed to increasing opportunities in the maritime sector. While advocacy for joint ventures and ownership of vessels with foreign operators on a 60-40 basis is ongoing, the federal government came up with the Cabotage Vessel Financing Fund aimed at offering financial support for willing investors.
People must borrow and return for other people, and that will grow the economy. One of them said, one said he had 30 vessels, another one said 16. I said, if you have all these vessels, the more persons will have employment that high. So the more persons we acquire, the more persons will create employment, and the more the growth of the economy.
The chairman of the committee, Dakuku Peterside, gave assurance of transparency and adherence to due process.
The provisions of the guideline, which will be religiously followed by participating banks or bank, whatever, so that will determine, so if stakeholders meet up the requirements placed by the banks, then of course it will be disbursed.
The interest rates, there should be a good spread to allow repayments.
The Vessel Financing Fund is one of the initiatives aimed at increasing the capacity of local ship owners as prelude to the end of the cabotage waiver regime. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NTA News.
Away from maritime now, in furtherance of its commitment to providing a level playing ground for all stakeholders in the delivery of credible elections in the country, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has reiterated its ambition to recognize in all categories of persons in achieving this through data capturing. This was at a one-day strategy meeting on capturing of disaggregated data of persons with disabilities across the country held in Lagos. Tunde Saiki has more.
The United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons Living with Disabilities has been the guiding standard in disability inclusion the world over. So far, 162 countries have signed the convention. The Article 29 of the treaty focuses on participation in political and public life. It calls on states to ensure that persons with disabilities can effectively and fully participate in political activities on equal basis with others and granted the opportunity to vote and be voted for.
The Kogia election, Bayelsa election, we provided for all polling units, whereas it was unnecessary to do that. But because we did not have the data to assist us in providing for areas where those things are needed.
Sustain statistics of persons with disabilities engagement in the electoral process in Nigeria.
Some participants at the meeting noted that such strategy will not only assist INEC and persons with disabilities in the electoral process, but also help in reducing waste and human and material resources.
You could never ask for much more than that in the area of inclusivity.
Cannot have an inclusive, free and fair elections without knowing the numbers of those to either vote or to be elected.
The one-day strategy meeting had in attendance officials of INEC and other stakeholders from across the country. In Lagos, Tunde Saiki, NTA News.
That's our contribution from Lagos. Network News continues after this time out. Please stay with us.
Plenty people don't they win plenty prizes anyhow.
My own done better because I week I came around. I'm very happy, Claude. Thank you.
This machine is going to be beautiful for me. I'm going to give it to my babe. She's a fashion designer, so my life done better.
The grinding machine where I win, I can carry my wife will be a vendor. Go help and well. A better thing will do for me, I tell you.
Not long ago, I promised my wife to get her a sewing machine.
I didn't see it coming. I thank God and I thank Lord for blessing me today.
Abeg, TRS go recharge with 200 naira today. Make you say following ogbonge prices like keke napep, grinding machine, generator, and industrial sewing machine. No day for river make soap the entire aisle.
Glow Unlimited. You don't wait for life. You go to meet life. It's not about how many chances you get. It's what you do with what you've got. Cup after cup. Morning after morning. Start strong. Finish strong. It all starts with a Nescafe.
It's really tough right now. It's hard to expand my business.
Exactly. You know, many farmers depend on me. All these banks saying they don't see my vision.
Good evening, gentlemen. Sorry for interrupting. That's not exactly true.
How do you know?
I'm living proof. Mind if I join you?
Not at all.
Just last year, I planned to expand my hospitality business. It was tough, but I met the right people.
So, who exactly are these people?
My bank, FCMB. Eddie, their bills on the house. I forgot to mention, this is one of our hotels. Have a great night, gentlemen.
With the right guys who believe in your visions, getting to your desired destination is easier and quicker. Let's help you take the next step. FCMB, my bank, and I.
Telemundo new series. Meet Antonio. He has everything except a happy family. And Julieta, she has a dream man. Or is he a nightmare? Fall in love with Telemundo's new romantic comedy. It will sweep you off your feet. A Telemundo new series, almost yours. Every weeknight at 7.
No perfect family may be under threat by germs. Germs can cause infectious diseases like diarrhea, typhoid, and flu. These infectious diseases are amongst the biggest killers of adults and children. In Nigeria, tens of thousands of children under the age of 5 have died due to diarrhea caused by germs. These illness-causing germs are everywhere. Dirty surfaces, on cuts and wounds, on your clothes, in unclean bathing water. To protect your family from germs, use the power of Dettol's 1 capful. For surface cleaning, for first aid, for your laundry, in your bathing water, and to protect your family from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Introducing Dettol with aloe vera. Soothing aloe vera, the power of Dettol, which is soft on skin and hard on germs. Be Dettol Sure.
Your information dey important, just like your identity. Now the only way we fit take hala you. Make you go browse easy.gotvafrica.com. Sign in with your IUC number and mobile number and scroll down to personal details and address. Then check well to see say everything bam. You fit change the one we not correct. To finish everything, just click the save button and it don't finish.
Thank you.
I make sure say my phone number dey correct. That's not why GoTV fit call me make I come collect my own awoof.
Angel, time for my phone in that way because now my correct phone number dey for book.
GoTV, live it, love it.
Not look me again, no. Make you go do your own.
Welcome back to Abuja. But right now, we are joining Obey in Benin for the next set of reports. Obey.
Joseph, thank you for joining us in Benin. 46 out of the 175 cases of Lassa fever recorded in Edo State are currently receiving medical attention at Irua Specialist Hospital, the major treatment center in Eastern Central Local Government area of the state. The Chief Medical Director of the hospital, Professor Silvanus Okugbene, has confirmed. Ivio Yakiri reports.
Professor Okagbeni also confirms that one of the cases admitted in the hospital is a core member brought in from Delta State. He adds that some others are from other neighboring states. He is confident that with the facilities and expertise at the hospital, fatality rate will be minimal.
The copper that was brought in from Asaba is doing well. He's undergoing his treatment and he's doing very well. We do expect that in a few days he will have recovered fully. So the casualties you sometimes see, it's those who just come in and before you can do anything, they die. But majority may come early. The chances of survival are very high if they are properly isolated and properly managed.
Meanwhile, the state government, after a tripartite meeting with representatives of WHO and other key players, directed that ambulance be placed in the 3 Lassa fever centers in the state, while enlightenment is stepped up.
Then we have to do a lot to prevent rat-to-human contact. And first of all, sanitation and hygiene matters a lot. Make sure that waste disposal, dustbins are not made close to the houses. Make sure that refuse are disposed safely far away from the homes. And for the dustbins that we have at home,
we apologize for that poor visual quality coming from our Benin Network Center. But let's take another commercial break now. Stay with us.
That channel where you watch just now don't waka, no panic. Can tell me no panic. You go do it by yourself like ABC. Oh yeah, press the menu button on top your remote. Scroll up and down till you see Information Central. Then press OK.
Press OK.
Check the signal strength and quality. If the signal strength and quality pass 70, make you press the exit button, go back. Go advanced options, then choose installation, then go to reset and press OK.
Press OK. Wow, now you fit catch all those channels wey be one miss road by yourself. Yes, make your groove for no loss. You see as I do am, abi? And I see as I do am.
Go TV, live it, love it.
And I see as we do am.
Lassa fever occurs when a person gets bitten by a rat carrying the Lassa virus. It is also contacted through the consumption of foods that have been contaminated by either the saliva, urine, or excreta of the rats. Lassa fever is deadly, so protect yourself and loved ones from it. Keep rats away from your homes. Ensure that leftover foods are properly covered at night and heat up properly before consumption. Wash fruits properly before you eat. Maintain regular hand wash with soap and water, as well as environmental sanitation. Report all feverish conditions and bleeding from the nose or mouth to the health facility nearest to you, and don't indulge in self-medication. This message is from the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA.
Let's bring you sports now. Fans tip Super Eagles to progress in World Cup qualifiers. Details with more with Kenema Abudike on Sports Update.